Coming up, an organization pushes to end harmful therapy practices. And later, Iowa City's high school is getting fixed up.
Can the Hawks overcome the 29.5-point spread? We'll tell you more in sports.
Hope you didn't put away your sandals. You'll find out more in weather.
All that and more coming up on this Monday morning edition of DITV News. Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now. Good morning and thank you for tuning in live to DITV and KRUI 89.7 FM. I'm Samantha Bielema. Early voting has now begun. Across Iowa, early voting started on Wednesday and will continue until November 7th. Here at the University of Iowa, registered voters can cast their vote at Iowa Memorial Union today from the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. This election covers races including the U.S. Senate, members of Congress, governor, state lawmakers, and more. If you would like to vote early, you can also vote via mail-in ballot or at the county auditor's office. If you would like to vote by mail, be sure to request your ballot before October 24th. Conversion therapy is a process that attempts to change an individual's sexual orientation. While this process was recently outlawed in Linn County, it's still illegal in Johnson County. Many are speaking out against this practice, and DITV News reporter Madison Johnson has more.
Following their success in Linn County, Iowa Safe Schools is working to ban conversion therapy in Johnston County. Iowa Safe Schools is an organization founded in 2002 to address the bullying of LGBTQ+ youth in Iowa schools. This organization spent their first 5 years hosting forums and talking to community leaders about the importance of protecting all students, leading to Iowa being the 10th state to adopt a safe schools law that protected all students.
This past summer, they were successful in banning conversion therapy in Linn County.
Linn County is a great example. We were able to work with Supervisor Stacy Walker as well as Supervisor Ben Rogers to draft a ordinance that was effective to the point and was able to gather broad support.
Following this, Iowa Safe Schools has begun working on banning conversion therapy in Johnston County, and they're looking to college students for support.
Urging University of Iowa students who see the importance of protecting minors from conversion therapy to contact your county supervisors, email them, call them, go to meetings, go to their town halls, and tell them how important this is, because it is truly life or death.
From the University of Iowa, I'm Madison Johnson, DITV.
As we are heading towards the end of October, it's important to remember that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. DITV Mallory Wilson is live at Domestic Violence Center Prevention with more.
Thanks, Samantha. Nearly 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Johnson County Domestic Violence Intervention Program supports survivors in the community. They have multiple events this month. Johnson County's Domestic Violence Intervention Program hosted their 16th annual Shop for Shelter event.
Honestly, just supports victims and survivors of domestic violence and everybody that stays within our shelters.
As women are most often the victims of domestic violence, baby products are high in demand.
People with, guns in the home are more likely, the women are more likely to experience domestic violence.
Representatives and volunteers of DVIP gave shoppers a list of items they could purchase and then donate as they walk out the door.
We're looking for things like pull-ups and diapers and formula, but also things like trash bags and gift cards and aluminum foil, random things like that.
DVIP collected over 120 shopping carts filled with donated items, worth more than $42,000 of merchandise. This evening, DVIP will host Night at the Iowa Heartlanders, and tomorrow they will host the Punk Show at James Theater in Iowa City. Proceeds from both events will go towards the program. Live from DVIP, Mallory Wilson. Back to you in the studio, Samantha.
Thanks, Mallory. University of Iowa Dining serves over 10,000 meals per day. Since 2007, the University of Iowa has composted 800,000 pounds of waste annually. New shortages in staffing are making it harder for dining services to continue as they have in the past. The dining halls have now moved to using plastic silverware, paper plates and cups, opposed to their reusable dishes. University dining currently consists of 45 salary employees and 130 full-time employees. To operate the dining halls fully and effectively, Head of Dining Jill Irving said that 1,400 students would be needed. Despite the change in dish and silverware, no other food or dining options have been limited since this fall. Tionna, it would be great to head back outside. Could you give us more details on the weather?
Well, Samantha, although this past week we've gotten a taste of that annual cold weather in Iowa City, the streak seems to break this weekend as the skies turn sunny and the temperatures shoot up into the 80s. It's currently 43 degrees in Iowa City. During the day today, you won't need that winter coat that you may have brought out earlier this week. However, I would suggest putting on a jacket tonight as the temperatures drop down to a low of 52 degrees. Saturday looks to heat up more, pushing the weather to 83 degrees and increasing Friday's low by 12%. The temperature begins to ease its way back down into the cooler side starting on Sunday with strong winds and cloudy skies. It will be best to pop out your umbrellas Monday and Tuesday as it appears there will be showers coming our way. Max, the weather has been real up and down lately, just like the Hawkeye football team. Can you tell us more?
Well, Tionna, this weekend could be a rough one. Iowa is on their way to Columbus right now for a battle in the horseshoe. Let's send it to DITV Sports Director Michael Merrick's weekly segment before the kickoff to detail tomorrow's matchup.
This week, the Hawkeyes take on the second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and boy, do they have their hands full this weekend. Not only is this Ohio State squad talked about as one of the best offenses in the NCAA this season, this may be one of the most talented teams in NCAA history. And while the Ohio State University is known for producing stars year in and year out, this team, however, has a little extra shine. Returning for the Buckeyes is Heisman favorite and potential top 3 pick in the NFL draft, C.J. Stroud. Stroud lit the college football world on fire a season ago, throwing for over 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns in just his first season as a starter. This includes an explosion in the Rose Bowl where he would set records for the most yards and most touchdowns thrown in Rose Bowl history. CJ has continued that production into this season, as he currently sits atop the NCAA for the most passing touchdowns so far this season, despite playing one less game than some players. Through 6 games, Stroud has totaled 24 passing touchdowns, so that means for every 1 Spencer Petras touchdown we get, you see 12 from CJ Stroud.
They've had good quarterbacks, and yeah, Stroud looks like he's 28 years old back there. He's a really good football player, just total control, really talented, and it's going to be another challenge.
His mental side of the game, he really took that approach to be able to learn the game, stepping in for Justin Fields. The one thing he worked on to kind of better himself from last year is really just his escapability. He's not known to run the ball, and I mean, fans around here, they want him to tuck and run a little bit more if he sees an open lane, but CJ Stroud, he's really trying to force the ball down the field and get to the receivers, into the playmakers' hands.
This isn't a team that is just carried by their quarterback, though. The Buckeyes have potentially one of the best receiver corps in history. Currently, the Buckeyes have arguably the best wide receiver duo in the nation, with 2 top 20 receivers in yards per game in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka. And this isn't even including Jackson Smith and Jigba, who missed most of this season so far due to injury.
Thanks, Michael. Be sure to head to the Daily Iowan website and YouTube page to watch the rest of Michael's detailed breakdown of this matchup. And while you're there, look out for content posted from me and Michael while we're in Columbus. And the Iowa women's basketball team had an exciting media day yesterday as they gear up for this upcoming season starting next Friday. This season's squad have high expectations as they have all 5 starters returning and are coming off of a very successful season last year, winning the conference tournament along with the regular season title. These Hawkeyes know that the rest of the Big Ten have their eyes on dethroning last year's champions and that they are the team to beat in the Big Ten.
And the target is certainly on our back, especially after being voted first in the preseason polls for the Big Ten and 4th overall in the country.
Returning starters Caitlin Clark and Monica Sonano have continued to strengthen their chemistry together that will hopefully help to lead the rest of the team this season.
And I really believe that Caitlin and Monica are one of the most dynamic duos in the country. All of our stars.
Be sure to tune back in on October 28th for a preview of their first game. And the Iowa women's soccer team shocked the whole conference last night when they upset number 13 Northwestern 2-1. After starting the Big Ten season 0-3-4, the Hawkeyes have won 2 straight, and it is in large thanks to the return of junior goalie Macy Enneking. Macy played the first 2 games of the season before sustaining an injury in the win against Cal Poly. But since her return, she has gone 2-1-1, allowing only 4 goals, including a shutout against Nebraska, and she also has 19 saves. Iowa will look to continue their streak Sunday night when they take on the Penn State Nittany Lions in their final home game of the season. And Iowa field hockey prepares for a strange non-conference rematch against Michigan today at 11:30 a.m. Iowa previously faced the Wolverines last weekend in Ann Arbor. However, this game will not be played at either team's home field, as it will take place in Evanston, Illinois. The Hawks are currently on a losing streak of 2, and like most Iowa sports, their offense is struggling. For 2 games in a row, Iowa has been unable to produce a single goal, and in their most recent outing against Michigan, only had 3 shots on goal, the second lowest amount of shots on the season for the Hawks. Iowa will host Michigan State next week for Senior Day and their final regular season of the game. Come back on Monday for all the latest on Hawkeye sports. Back to you, Samantha.
Thanks, Max. West High School here in Iowa City is expected to break ground for a new renovation excuse me, in the upcoming months. The school received a $10.5 million grant to update the school that was built in the 1970s. Iowa City School Board President Ruthina Malone talks about what the new renovation will look like for the high school. West High School is the last of the schools in Iowa City to be renovated with the grant money from the city. The board has been planning on the renovation since 2017, and the renovations are expected to be finalized in 2024. They couldn't be more excited to get the planning into action. A new $300,000 grant will allow Iowa City to start improvements on the Burlington Street Bridge. The grant was part of the Bridge Investment Program in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It was announced in August, but construction will not begin on the bridge until 2028. It will be led by Iowa City's city engineer. Iowa City's roads and infrastructure have been a reoccurring issue, with Iowa leading the nation in structurally deficient bridges, with more than 18% of bridges in the state being in poor condition. The grant came after Iowa was ranked #1 in worst bridges in the nation. On Monday night, Day to Dance Marathon began and lasted 24 hours. The event is fundraising push day, where the participants had various ways of raising money. Day to DM, as it is also known, saw a decrease in numbers of students who participated this year. This part is a trend of there has been shortage of students participating in dance marathon events over the last 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it has to do obviously with like the pandemic and like not having students in person. I think a lot of the magic and like the miracles that come with dance marathon is when we're all together and like we're all in the same room like we are now.
Despite this, students who participated raised over $226,000 for the families at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. Dance Marathon hopes to have a big turnout for the event, which will take place in February. This morning at midnight, or last night at 11 p.m. Central for us in Iowa, Taylor Swift released her long-awaited 10th studio album. Midnights has 13 tracks detailing stories of, quote, 13 sleepless nights scattered throughout my life, and end quote. No singles and very little information about what was released the album before the drop. However, through TikToks titled Midnight Mayhems with Me, she released titles of the track listed Lavender Haze, Karma, Sweet Nothing, and Snow on the Beach, featuring Lana Del Rey. The artist also shocked fans early this morning by dropping 7 additional tracks, 3 a.m. tracks. The album is now available on all streaming services. 2 iconic food restaurants are teaming up. Select McDonald's locations in Louisville, Kentucky will be selling Krispy Kreme donuts as a part of a small test for the 2 companies. Starting October 26, McDonald's will sell 3 kinds of their Krispy Kreme donuts, including Famous Glazed Donut. Krispy Kreme will deliver the donuts fresh every morning for hungry McDonald's customers. This new pairing will be available for a limited time. Thank you for tuning in to DITV News and listening to KRUI 89.7 FM. Be sure to head over to thedailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday. And check out more of our content on the Daily Iowan YouTube page or on dailyiowan.com/DITV. For DITV News, I'm Samantha Bielema. Have a great day.